Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. Yar, har, fiddly-dee. Being a pirate is alright with me. Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. Yo ho, ahoy in a blast. Being a pirate is really badass. I know the flag from the end of the blast. You are a pirate. You are a pirate. Yay! We've got us a map.
And welcome everybody to episode 6 of the Captain's Quarters. We are back. It's going to be a lot of voices that you may recognize, a lot of voices that you may... What the hell happened here? Well, hang on a second. Okay. Is somebody messing with the file here? Our outline? Because literally the entire first page just went white to me. Oh, someone got on there and hit enter. Who laid on the enter key on their keyboard?
I'm trying to undo it. It's not me.
Yeah.
No, it's not me.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. That's the intro of the show. Here we go. Episode 6 of the Captain's Quarters. We're back. This is our big relaunch, and we are just fucking it up left and right. So, with you, as always, is I, Caritas Helmbreaker. We were just discussing how I am the monk in the FC. There are other monks, but there's really only one monk. That being said... With me, I can say this as always, because I think you've been on every episode, is also our lovely captain, Miss Aya B. How are you, ma'am?
Sup? I'm good.
That's it?
I'm excited.
Okay, awesome. Anything else? That was like super abrupt and brief. When I ask you questions, I kind of want to like lead to you being personable and charming and saying things.
Oh, okay.
So how's it going, boss?
I am doing very well, thank you very much.
All right, I'll take it. Next up, we've got a guy that definitely, I'm sure everybody knows at this point. We've got the one and only Buttery Biscuit. How are you, sir?
I am fantastic. How are you doing today?
Former guest on the show, now a host. I'm good, by the way. Yeah, and you've gone through a lot of changes. We'll get to that in a little bit, but you're Mr. Big Britches now, right?
No. I'm just a biscuit, man. Just a biscuit.
No longer just happy to be here. Now he's
I'm still happy to be here.
You've added gravy to that biscuit.
It's super buttery now.
Oh my God.
Before I mention a voice that some of you may recognize as our final permanent host, we're going to save her for last, and for a very important reason. We're going to go next to our guests for this week. So we're pronouncing it Kiyo Muramasa, is that correct?
Yes, Kiyo Muramasa.
And while I'm calling everyone out and putting everyone right up on Front Street, now that I'm recording, what happened to your old name?
Dude, Samurai is coming out, and I have bought it hook, line, and sinker. My inner weeaboo demands that I become a samurai, so I figured I'd change the name and go ahead.
So for anyone who might not know, you used to be...
Ryu Goki.
And you were the day man. You were my day man.
I still am your day man.
Yeah, and then you disappeared, and then I was like, fuck that day man. And that's why I'm the only monk now. That is why I'm the monk.
Okay, that's true.
But you're jumping
I decided to come back because I am absolutely in love with the booty, and I can't seem to get enough.
That's right.
That's awkward.
So I'm coming right out of the gate with the salt here today. I would apologize, but I'm not gonna. So last but not least, our last permanent host. So now you've got myself, you've got Buttery Biscuit, you've got Aya B, but the returning after... I don't know how many episodes, months. It's definitely months. I'm trying to think of it in like episode terms. The returning Miliana Gray.
Huzzah!
Wait, who's that?
Exactly. So now here is the point where you explain to the people who have been in the booty for the last handful of months who you are, because I bet you there's people that don't know.
Yeah.
I'm Miliana Gray.
The lewdest girl in all of booty.
I'm a vulgar woman. Get it right.
Oh my God, it makes it better.
I've accepted my role as vulgar woman.
You guys are jumping in and making this intentionally awkward moment much easier for her to handle. I want silence. I want silence while we turn the spotlight directly on Millie.
Don't you dare abandon me. Hi.
This is fantastic. I'm really excited about delivering this episode. So The gang's all back. I hope you enjoyed the new awesome intro to the show, which, as we are recording this, does not exist. But I have faith in myself that it is going to be amazing. It's going to be a super cool intro, and everybody's going to go, "Oh fuck, they're back, and it's the coolest thing ever!" And I'm super excited for the show. It may just be me farting into a microphone, but I don't know. We'll find out.
As long as it's the
That is
theme.
what your voice sounds like.
Yes.
That was impressively sharp for you. I'm actually kind of proud of that.
You'll be playing the butt pipes.
The butt.
If I had a kazoo, I'd fucking blow it so hard in this microphone right now.
Oh,
You just took
That's what you
everything.
said.
You just took everything awesome that Millie did and just took a shit right on top.
I know, that's what he does, because he's a
I
boy.
do that.
It's a gold bar covered in poop now, thanks to you.
It's a monk
Sorry.
thing.
That's part of his charm, though.
It's true.
It is.
Hey, you
That's
know
why
what? We'll get to this because you tried to play a cheeky little joke that I noticed. We'll get to this a little bit later, but we're gonna dig a little bit, at least a few layers deep, on where this monk hate came from, because it feels like in the time since I've been sort of stepped away from the game for a few months because there ain't shit to do, all of a sudden monk hate is a thing, and I think it's
It is.
so unbelievably cute. But we'll get to that a little bit later. First up, I think we should definitely get into our normal state of the booty address that quote unquote long-time listeners to the show will recognize, and that is where Captain IAB takes us through all the new shit that's happening in the FC. And if you've been paying attention to your Facebook page, if you've been paying attention to BootyFC.com, you will know that there is a lot of shit to talk about. And if you listen to an episode of the show before, you will know that she will take a good long time to explain it. So while we all sit and stare at our clocks, get started, boss. Where did she go?
Cricket.
Aya.
Doing well.
That's
Are
you.
doing well? That's me.
Yes, your
Hi.
name is Aya.
Jesus Christ, were you even listening?
But no, well, he
I was
messed up.
going.
You
but-
said Aya B, it's Aya Bay.
It is
true.
not.
Wait,
Okay.
actually,
Oh,
last
okay.
night in Discord, someone was calling you Aya, which I thought was fantastic.
They do that.
And the whole time I was like, is this a joke, or is she too nice to correct them? But anyway, I want you to know
It's like a
that
karate chop.
if
Yeah.
you're on a push to talk sort of situation, we couldn't hear you.
I'm not. I don't know what it was. It was like a lag or something. Maybe you're being too much of a butt, and my Discord was like, no,
There was
don't
like a
talk to her.
straight 10 seconds of silence
Yep.
there. So,
Really? Because I was totally talking it up.
Yeah, no, so let's start this again. We're gonna rewind the
Okay.
show. We're bringing it back.
Rewind.
This is great.
And cut!
We're just knocking all the dust and fucking cobwebs off this motherfucker in the first 5 minutes of the show. So, let's move it on to the state of the booty. Longtime listeners of the show will recognize this is the point where Captain IAB walks you through an address on everything that is happening in the FC. That's it. That's all I got. Go talk about it.
That's it. Okay, we have went through a ton of changes, especially in the past. The biggest being since Miliana Gray has been back. She has been awesome, taking over her first mate role without even being in the first mate rank. So me and the other first mates saw it fit to promote her. So she is once again a first mate, and it's wonderful. If you don't know her, get to know her. She is kind and good and super funny when she wants to be. And if you're being a butt, she'll beat you up. So
Please also note, quick aside, that if you do get to know her, try to get to know her and Aya separately, because especially if you're just talking to them on Discord, you can't tell them apart. When they both start talking, it is impossible to tell them apart.
So-
not true.
So this is the greatest thing because that's not the first person I've heard say that.
Yeah, Raven.
Everybody says it,
Raven
and it's
says that.
stupid.
Yes.
Oh.
Listen, it makes it really awkward for me hearing that.
You guys, moving right along.
What?
Yes, moving right along.
Moving right along. In case you haven't noticed, there is a co-captain now in the FC, which means everything I can do, he can do too. So our very own Buttery Biscuit now helps me lead the FC. He kind of talks to me about the innermost workings of the FC and the things that we can do to improve upon it, and he helps me manage things that I maybe get spread too thin sometimes, and I can't give the whole FC all of my attention, so Buttery helps me do that. And moving into Stormblood, we plan on growing really, really big. So
You just
I
admitted.
need all the help I can get.
You just admitted to being spread as far as you can spread and still not being able to service the entire FC.
So we just went there, huh?
Yeah, I'm
We
just throwing
did.
that out. Just throwing that out there. Please continue.
I will.
Noteworthy.
Curry Tanty is now the new gunner in charge, man. He is still everything that has to do with the gunners, he's going to be taking care of. And if you don't know what the gunners are, they are the rating rank. Everyone who is in a booty sponsored static will be in the gunner rank, so that way they are known as a raider to the rest of the FC. So if people know they have questions, they need help with certain rating things or their certain class roles, they know that those gunners are probably the people they can go to for those kinds of questions and get the answers that they need. Curry's going to be posting some announcements soon, a new gunner update to kind of let you know what you need to do to get in that rank and the things the Booty plans to do for you as a Booty sponsored static. There's been whispers of providing raid food, which is pretty crazy freaking epic. So on top of everything that we were doing before, which is sponsoring your stream if you have one, giving you your own personal page on the website, giving you your own channel in the Discord, you may also be provided with things to help your raid progress. Also, we kind of came up with some new ranks. A while back, we took out ranks, and we only had a few. We had the entry-level rank, which is a powder monkey, and we had the crew, which is what you moved to after you'd been in the FC for at least 2 weeks and you'd been known to be somebody to log on and talk occasionally. And then we had the gunners and the mateys. And the mateys are kind of like the people you turn to if you need help running a dungeon, if you need help with a question that doesn't have anything to do with raiding, or you just need to talk to somebody. The mateys are the people that you know that you can turn to. And then we had the first mates, which were my officers and me. Now we have a deckhand rank, which if you see any of the people in that rank, they are alts. So they have a main somewhere, but these are just their alts in the FC. We still have the crew. That's still kind of what it is. If you've been in the FC for at least 2 weeks and you've been kind of active, then we'll move you up into the crew, and it means that you get access to the first tab of the FC chest. If you steal anything, I will kill you IRL. The rigger is kind of to show that you're moving up in the FC. We recognize you. We thank you for being social and active, but you don't quite fit into a veteran yet. You're not quite a raider, and you're not quite matey status. So rigger, you're moving on up. We recognize you, and we see you, and we're watching. Always watching. And then we have the helmsmen, which are our veterans in the FC. Those are the people that have stood the test of time. They've been loyal. They've stayed with us despite all of the trials and tribulations that we have faced in the past. They have helped us to get where we are. So it's a very respected, very prestigious rank that will be thoroughly rewarded as often as humanly possible. You know the gunners and the mateys. I just got through talking about those, but I do want to mention for the mateys that all of the old mateys that we did have when we first created the rank, it was kind of a volunteer basis. If you decided you wanted to be a matey, you can just volunteer and we would let you in. However, we're not doing that anymore because we want to make sure the matey rank are people that the members in the FC know that they can turn to for just about anything. So we want to make sure that you fit that. They have certain duties, things that we expect them to perform. We want them to say hello to any and every member that they see log in or saying hi or talk to the people they see trying to talk in FC chat. If people have questions, even if they don't know the answer, they'll either try to help them figure out the answer or they'll answer them and be like, I really don't know the answer to that, but maybe I can help you figure it out, that kind of thing. We just want to make sure that the mateys help the other members to be seen, because we're going to have quiet members. We're going to have the people who kind of sit in the background and they're a little timid to get out there, and we want the mateys to really reach in and help us pull out our members and make them a part of this family. We brought back the quartermaster rank, and this rank is very, very, very special this time around because These are the people who are literally dedicated to the FC. They are crafters of the highest sort, and they want to dedicate those talents that they have, we'll call them, to the booty. So they're gathering the things that we need for the company workshop and the airships, and we're doing grade 3 ethereal wheels. So we're trying to get those grade 3 buffs for leveling and Stormblood. We have a decent amount of them saved up thanks to Takagi and Xena and Saucy and Buttery and a whole bunch of other people who've really jumped in and made that their thing. But in the future, it's going to be kind of like the matey where you'll volunteer for it, and then if we feel like you fit the role, then we'll look at you for it and we'll put you in there. But if you volunteer for it and we don't feel like, maybe, I don't know, then we'll put you there. We'll watch you. We'll see.
So is that
We'll
like a Gordon Ramsay situation where like somebody wants to be a culinarian and they'll cook stuff for you and you'll be like, this apicalo omelet is shit. You can't be a quartermaster.
Yeah, how can you expect me to serve this to my gunners?
Exactly.
Freaking
I just wanted everyone to know exactly what the barrel they were staring down when they asked to become a quartermaster.
I am Gordon Ramsay.
This baked papira pira isn't even baked.
It's not even.
I figured she was gonna.
swimming.
I figured she was gonna try to distance us from that so that people weren't scared to try to be quartermasters. But apparently, she's just gonna be a dick. So
Listen.
good luck trying to be a quartermaster.
The quartermaster rank it has access to all 3 tabs in the company chest. So we need to make sure that anybody who is in this rank are people that we can absolutely 100% trust. So it's a very, very, very importante role. The first mates are as they always were. It's just remember that they're the officers of the FC. They keep watch. They make sure they take care of all that drama behind the scenes to make sure that this big booty family is something that stays drama free. So you can get on and you can play the game and have fun and not have to worry about all the trivial stuff that might happen in an FC. So they take care of a lot of things and they work very, very, very hard. They dedicate all their spare time to this FC. So please respect. If you ever have an issue at all with another person in the FC, with anything in the game, or you're feeling a certain way and you feel like you need to talk to somebody, I guarantee you the first mates are some of the most upstanding people I've ever met in my life. And you can go to them with anything.
You can also come to the mateys as well.
You can, yeah.
Me being as a matey.
You
like
can
that.
go to the mateys.
I will try to help you out as awesomely as possible.
As awesomely. Be careful, he bites.
It's true.
Co-captain, we talked about that. Buttery sits in there now. Everything I can do, he can do, and he helps me with literally everything. And then there's me, who takes care of pretty much everything, with the help of my mateys and my first mates and all of you beautiful crew members. The mateys, since we were doing it on a volunteer basis, I do want to bring up that they will be reassigned ranks on Thursday. We're kind of taking the people that are in the matey position all out and kind of reassigning them their ranks. Most of them, if not all of them, I think are going into the veteran rank. We're going to be promoting from there. So it's like I think we called it like a volunteer recruiting basis. So you volunteer and then we recruit you from our pool of volunteers. But this time we're going to be holding you accountable because we want the mateys to be people that other members know that they can go to. So if you're not greeting your fellow crewmates, if you're not answering questions, if you're not helping, and you're just kind of standing around with your thumb up your behind, then you probably won't be a matey for very long. Yeah. But when it comes to the other changes in the FC, a lot of those are going to be future driven. They're not quite here yet. But the ranks are good as they are. We like them. If we feel like tweaking anything up, I haven't really gotten the feel for that because I think people like it the way that it is now. So we're really just going to kind of run with it and see how it goes. So I'll just reiterate, if you're wanting to be a matey, let a first mate, Buttery, or me know. If you wanting to really kind of get into the gunner thing, you're looking to raid or have a static in booty and you want it to be sponsored, you need to go to Curie. He's kind of the man for that. He's taken it and he's ran with it and he's got all these amazing ideas and I'm excited. I really think it's going to take off this time. It's really going somewhere. So, and if you're looking for how you can rank up in this FC. You don't know much about it. Please visit the website because I update that as much as humanly possible. All the new ranks are on there. I'll tell you exactly how you get promoted. I'll tell you exactly what you need to do to be each and every one of those ranks, especially the important ones. So all of the information that you need is right there if you don't feel comfortable going to someone else. That's it for the changes that we have right now. It's really just a whole rank makeover.
Yeah, it's kind of similar what's going on in the game right now. Actually, I feel like this episode is going to feel very cyclical in that respect. I do want to point out the only thing I see on the list here before we move on to our next segment that you did not cover is we decided actually just today, and I thought it was a fantastic idea mostly because I had it. That that if you want to make comments or suggestions on this podcast, go to ffxivcaptainsquarters@gmail.com. ffxivcaptainsquarters@gmail.com. And I'm being a smartass, but thank you to Buttery, I think, was the one who set this up for us. But we really want to try to engage a little bit more with the people who are listening to the show. To me, I think at first when we started doing this, I didn't realize how many people were actually listening to it. And then as we kind of fizzled out there and took our little break, it became very obvious to me how many people did because people were constantly asking me when we were going to do the show again. And that to me showed that there was this really large part of this experience of sort of making content for the FC that we were missing out on, and that's us interacting a little bit more directly. I mean, I know everybody's interacting directly with members in game and so on and so forth, but when it comes to the podcast, I think it's important that we involve everyone in the FC in what the content of the podcast actually is going to be. By opening up to suggestions, to critiques, and because this is for you. I mean, when we first started doing this, when I first suggested the podcast to Aya, the idea was that the podcast was for all of you. So I do want to do something here, if you don't mind, before we actually move on to the member spotlight.
I don't mind.
Because we made a promise today on Facebook. I made a promise today that anyone who sends emails, we will read them on the show. So we've gotten some emails, and I want to take the time to actually go through and read these so that everyone that sent something in can be acknowledged and thanked, because otherwise people aren't going to send us anything else. So
That sounds pretty glorious.
I love it.
So the very first email to ffxivcaptainsquarters@gmail.com was actually from, and I'm going to do all of them, was from, I think this is from Buttery Biscuit, and it said test. So there's the first one, just so no one can say I didn't read all of them. I want to make sure nobody thinks that we're not going to read every single one. So there's number one, followed shortly by a reply from Aya saying, hey, how you doing? Not doing.
I like test better.
Doing. I do think it's. Can I ask a question actually while we're talking about this? What are these weird response buttons in the email? How did you do that? Because every email I look at, there's like weird response buttons, like good and you. I'm good. How about you? Nothing much.
It's Google's new thing. It's helping you in case you don't know what to say.
Google's very bland way of being creepy.
That's ridiculous. It's kind of like the other day a friend of mine I was sending texts to her, and then she would send me back texts that say she liked, and then in parentheses it had my entire text copied. And it took me about 5 or 6 before I realized that iPhones allow you to like text now, which is fine, but instead of sending a thumbs up, they literally just copy paste your text and send it back to you, and it's fucking retarded.
Oh my.
So this
it's
is kind of
making us lazier by the day.
Yeah, it's just.
I use
Moving the
Allo,
personal
and it tried to
aspect.
tell me to tell one of my friends once to tell him, I love you, Daddy.
I
I'm
think
being
Damn.
completely serious. It was one of the responses. I was like,
I'm gonna start using that response for everything then.
Oh no.
I was playing around with autocorrect one time, and it autocorrected my gibberish into cockfighting, and I was like, "Oh."
Very nice.
Well, you know
very
that
nice.
means that you were typing about cockfighting at one point. You were talking
I
to
was just
somebody
hitting
about
random
cockfighting.
buttons.
Or you
I
were
bet
talking to
you
someone
were.
about cocks and fighting, and it just came
Well,
out.
sometimes I want to see like a battle arena. Okay.
A real battle between real men.
Right.
Let's go watch a sword fight at the Dragon's Neck.
Sword fight.
So next up, we have an email from, and I'm going to stay away, unless anyone specifically wants us to, I'm going to try to stay away from your actual names, because, when you send these emails, it gives me your actual names. So thank you. I think everybody did label with their in-game name, which is fantastic. So now I can butcher these names, and people can be annoyed with me.
Yes.
So our first actual email, very first one, so let's give a round of applause, please.
It's beautiful.
Yes. Our very first one comes from Jadis Snow. I hope I'm saying that right. It's actually Jadis Snow Smiley Face is the full name.
Did it.
Jadis Snow Smiley Face. So what Jadis wants to talk about is the option to buy your way to level 50 or 60. New players just coming into Stir Blood, skipping right to 60 or 50 and having no clue what is happening, which is a huge fucking concern of mine. And running dungeons or raids with being 60 and no experience. And all finally getting a chance to get a class they wanted to 60. What are going to be the pros and cons to this? Well, you're welcome in advance because we're going to talk about that.
We are going to talk about that.
Next up, this one is titled Rebuttal. This one, I don't have a name on this, but I have a feeling based on the content that somebody knows who this is, because this email says, Buttery called me out on the podcasts. I want to respond. 'Tis only fair. Subject to debate on. Let's go with the new healer cleric stance. Who is this, Buttery?
Raven Shadow. Our very own Raven Shadow.
Well, don't forget to label your emails in the future, Raven. And don't forget to tell your friends to email us as well. We are definitely going to talk about the new healer cleric stance. I mean, really, I'm glad everyone's emailing, but at the same time, the emails are all like, talk about this thing that was in the live letter. We're going to talk about that. So if you want us to, if you want us to talk about anything out of the ordinary, feel free. And two, I really do intend to read all of these on the show. And if we get enough responses, I promise you, we're not just going to read these on the show. We're going to make Millie read them on the show, regardless of their content.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant idea.
I need to make a new email account.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to make
Making
one
alt
too.
emails.
So last but not least, for our inaugural reading of the emails, which I'm very happy with how this has gone, is from Alice Darkslayer. Would like to hear you guys talk about your thoughts on the combat system changes and how hard it might be to get used to it when Stormblood drops. Second, how you feel about the tease of the 60 to 70 abilities. I also wouldn't mind being on a podcast, which leads me to my final point. As I pointed out earlier tonight, I feel like all of our emails today also had a little subtle nod or just a blatant request to be on the show. And if you go back and listen to the previous shows, you will know that we always have at least one guest on. So continue to hit the captain co-captain up with those requests, because truth be told, I try to be as involved as I can in the planning of this thing. But at the same time, one of the traditions that we've built up on this show is that 5 minutes before we air, Aya just tells me who our guest is. She just shows up and says, by the way, this person's going to be on the show tonight, regardless of whether or not we've ever talked to them, regardless of whether or not, I mean, they could be mute, and she'll put them on the show, and she'll tell me that they're going to be on the show.
Surprise!
Yeah. So that's it. Our very first reading of the emails.
It was beautiful.
So again,
Beautiful.
anytime between now and the next show that you want to send us an email, we'll be keeping a log of what we get in. FFXIV, captainsquarters@gmail.com. Please send us emails. Tell your friends to send us emails. I swear to God, if I have to do just a separate thing of Millie reading emails, I'm willing to do that.
I think that's a brilliant idea, by the way.
Millie's willing to do it too. She secretly wants it.
Mhm.
Yeah. I hear the
Secretly
want in your
wants,
But
voice.
it's gonna be
That was kind of, I'm just going to say that it sounded kind of rapey.
Just let it happen, Millie.
Oh my.
So,
Showing
Streams.
moving on.
This is definitely a booty podcast.
One of my
teenage
favorite segments of the show, and this actually comes really good on the heels of the comment I just made about all the emails that we received, because if you come on the show as a guest, you will be subject to the member spotlight questionnaire, which is normally just the opportunity for all of us hosted people to just kind of razz you for a while, and now it's Kyo's turn. So,
Woo! My
I'm so ready for this.
So-
I feel like you were.
better know a crewmate, ... Kyo Muramasa edition. So, first question, buddy. Ready?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm as ready as I can be.
All right,
I'm a
Dayman.
little worried.
What is your history with MMOs in general?
Oh wow, I have been playing MMOs for a long time. I believe I started playing MMO when Burning Crusade came out. A friend was like, "Oh man, I got this awesome thing called World of Warcraft. We need to play it right now." I'm like, "Okay, I got it." And they were all very high level compared to me. They like threw me into a tank, ran me through everything, and then took me to Karazhan. And we're like, "Okay, tank it." And I'm like, "Wait, what? You didn't let me learn the game at all." So that was good times, and I never was a tank again in that game.
Nice.
Then I kind of moved on, I don't know, from game to game. I've played Star Wars, the Old Republic Online. I've actually played Ragnarok, the 2-bit version and the 3D version. Kind of played a lot of everything, and then I happened upon this game. A friend who already had his account and was like, "I got tired of playing. I'm going back to WoW. Here, you can have it." And I was like, "Sweet! I don't even have to pay the first month." So I got there, and the rest is history. I fell in love with this game, so I played MMOs for a long time. I kind of understand how they work. Especially, I would say I'm more of a DPS guy, but I have tanked, and I have never healed in an MMO to date.
It's fun.
Cause you bad.
Because I'm bad.
So let me get this straight. You're blaming your original like weird Street Fighter tribute name on your friend?
Yes.
Oh no, that was all me. I am saying that I definitely. I'm just saying I inherited the count from him, so I didn't have to. So I could cheat on the rewards that you get.
I love that
For
you
how
answered
many
that
days you
question
played.
honestly, as opposed
Yes.
to just telling me to fuck off.
Mhm.
Thank
No,
you
I
for
did
that.
not.
That's
I
wonderful.
answered it honestly. It was sweet, free stuff.
Well, you attracted me the first time I met you because I'm a Street Fighter fan too. So I got really excited when I saw it.
Aww.
That is awesome.
So
Fun.
I guess we've already covered what brought you to 14. So you just skipped over a question. So your impatience has taken an entire segment out of my show. What brought you to the booty? Once you were here, once you were a full-fledged Eorzean.
Mm-hmm. Funny story. I was in Loyal when it was Shinra Empire, and I was an officer in there when it was still Shinra Empire, and unfortunately, unlike our dear captain who always has her hands on and sees how the people were doing, he was very hands offish, kind of let his officers run everything. That led to problems. And it got to the point where we'd come up with ideas for stuff, but he'd take the credit. And at that point, we were kind of like, everyone was tired and angry. And for the last month that I remember being an officer, it was very quiet. Everyone went about, and then it just took one chain of events, and it exploded, and all the officers left. And I was just kind of running around, being part of no FC and being silly. And two kitties named Snow and Tarek came, and they were acting like fools. Snow was being very funny, and we were laughing, and Tarek was being a butt. And so the next day I was like, man, it looks like they have so much fun over there. And so I had heard about the booty, and I don't know if you remember this, but if you guys remember a Christmas video that you made, Aya, back when Booty was still small, and you had that small FC house, and you were all dancing in front of it. And I was like, they look like they're having lots of fun. I have not had fun for about 2 months on this game. So I joined Booty, and the rest is history. I got to know Aya and everyone, and I felt like I fit right in. Lots of fun. I also kind of got more of a taste for raiding while I was in Booty at the time. And, I have left a couple times, but I seem to always come back, and I don't think I'm going to be leaving again.
You better not.
I better
We will
not.
physically beat you up.
I don't think I will, because I am having way too much fun with you guys.
Aw.
Yeah, let that be a lesson to any prospective FC heads, captains, presidents, commanders, whatever you want to call yourself. That's pretty much the DNA. What you just heard, if you're new to this game or if you're new to MMOs in general, that's pretty much the DNA for how one of these things fails. I've seen it 3 times already myself, just in this game before I came to the booty. It's always something like hands off leader gives control to somebody else so they can step away from the game for a little while, comes back and person doesn't want to give them the power back, becomes a thing, blows up, FC dies every time. So be thankful that you have a captain who is pretty much just spending every day running this ship, right? I mean,
Right? I mean, I think the longest break I took was over this last holiday. And I was dealing with some stuff, so it had to be dealt with, and there was no helping it. But even though like there were some crazy things that happened, like the FC, like this poor FC, it suffered some blows, but I have the most amazing group of first mates right now. Like, I don't mean to stroke anybody or anything, but they held it together through this crazy huge thing that really should have like exploded everything, but nothing exploded.
yeah. To be fair, in the last year, this FC should have fallen apart twice. There were two very defining moments, and you pulled us. You pulled us back from the brink, and I commend you for that.
You have
Thank
done it
you.
twice, and
I couldn't have done it without my officers.
So let's get back to our guest. Let's all stop stroking the boss for a second. What do you think
Fine.
your strength is as a member of the booty?
I think I'm more of a, despite what I think I'm I am a little bit goofy, but I always try to have fun and make sure everyone's having fun with me. Also, I'm pretty calm and collected. I don't get riled up or mad very often. So I feel like I'm able to talk to people logically about their problems and kind of go from there.
So this next question, you actually have the opportunity to alter the future of the show, because if one more person just answers nothing, it's perfect, then I'm not going to ask this question anymore. But let's give it a shot. What is the one thing you would change about the booty if you had the chance, and you have to answer this within earshot of the boss?
Yeah.
No one's judging.
I like these questions because I like to hear it.
Oh yes, I'm trying to think. For the most part, everything.
Don't do it.
Something.
Whoa! I am really trying to think. I think I'd like to do. So I know, unfortunately, which it's going to happen because you play with a constant group that you know and you love. I think what we need to do is. And this is just my opinion, we need to have some events, some lower events, like coils were a good thing. I think we should bring them back and not just have the same groups go together, like it's always 3 or 4 of the heads that kind of go together and group together. I think we need to split those people up and get them kind of
Mix it.
Yes, especially for the new players that maybe not really get to raid with us a lot or kind of get to do stuff with us a lot, so we can kind of mix in everyone together to make them feel like they're included.
Yeah, those things do tend to
Definitely.
break up into cliques.
Yes.
They do. Mm-hmm.
It's a good
But
point.
yes, something like that. And also it'll help, I think. You've got a veteran player who's been there for a while with the booty, and kind of by kind of seeing the new people and going in there to maybe coils or something a little bit on the easier side, they can kind of get their first taste of also the rating aspect of this game. Or even something like an RP event where we can, I know there's a lot of people, Final Fantasy is a big RP community, and it's going to be bigger with all these people from Balmong and Gilgamesh coming in. I think maybe a basics of RP or anything like that, because we have a lot of people that I know RP and are really good at it.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And that's just the only thing I was thinking of. It's still, we do, like, this FC is so amazing in the fact that what it does for people and kind of how we make them feel wanted and I really do love this FC, and I want to see it grow and prosper. And I think that's one of the ways that we can do that.
And he stuck the landing. He stuck the
I love
landing.
it.
He got
I
his
love it.
he got his lips right back on your butt by the end of his statement.
That was beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you.
So what do you like best about the crew?
I think the fact that we can sit here in Discord and literally wait for Stormblood, nothing going on, and we can have one night where we absolutely have a blast. And you don't find that in a lot of other FC. Well, there's nothing to do, and they don't talk to each other, and there's nothing going on. It's just boring.
Mhm.
I think the crew and Booty in general does a great job of somehow finding a way to have fun when there should be no fun to be had. And that's exactly what attracts me to it. It makes me love this FC so much.
So I'm going to skip over the next question because you kind of answered this one for us. But no, calm down. I'm skipping over the one before the one you want me to ask. So here comes the one you want me to ask. If you could slip into the big boy pants of Buttery Biscuit for one day, 24 hours of unrestrained power, because remember, he can do everything the captain can do.
He's also married to Miliana Gray.
That's true. So does that mean I have to slip into the sheets as well?
Well, yes, honestly, everyone who gets this opportunity to be Buttery for a day has to bang Millie. That's part of it.
Oh God.
She's very vulgar, I'm sure.
Just vulgar.
So if you had this opportunity
You are
and
too
you were
lewd.
done, okay, let's get through it. You spent like the first 2 hours banging Millie. Then what would you do for the rest of the day with that power? What would you do? What would you do for the other 22 hours?
Man, that is a tough one. The power to do anything in Butteries.
The power to do anything in Buttery, yes.
Man, that is a tough one. Honestly, I don't know if I know what I'd do with power. Probably go crazy and try to end up ruling.
Cool. So that's a litmus test for
You
whether
would
or not
fail
you can
miserably.
ever be an officer. So you will never be a
Yeah,
first mate.
good job. You
I need to chime in on this one real quick. I'm sorry. I need to chime in.
I would totally
Okay.
use it for
Keo and I spent, what was it, about good 3 days
Yes.
where I was Keo and he was Buttery,
Those
and
were good times.
we were literally learning how to RP each other.
Mhm.
And I must say those were
You
three
were
glorious
RPing
days.
each other
They
for
were
3 days.
absolutely glorious.
They were
This is,
RPing each other for 3 whole days.
3 whole days.
That was a nightmare.
Millie, can
It was
I
not
RP
a-
you?
Of
it was
course
not
you
a
can.
nightmare. It was
The
glorious.
good thing is apparently we sounded alike, so it'd be easy.
I know.
That's
It'd be
true.
super easy.
Well,
I'm gonna change
I-
my name to
God.
Miliana Gray.
No, you don't exactly
Rip.
sound alike, but you have the same mannerisms in the way you talk.
It's the tone change.
What are you talking about? You butt?
Seth Rudis.
Yeah.
Hell,
All right.
Rogan.
So thank you very much for asking. Sorry.
Oh, you guys call him Seth Rudis, but I don't see it.
Nobody sees
I
it.
do.
Nobody
There's
with
no
that
way. There's no way.
okay.
There's
I don't see it either.
no. I
Fine,
don't
you guys
see
can
it.
stroke them all you want.
You know what? Here we go. This will be the first. This will be my
Lovely.
first call to action to our loyal listeners waiting to send in those emails. Do me a favor and shoot us. If you're listening, shoot us an email on whether or not you think I sound like Seth Rogen. Now, keep in mind, I don't give a shit, but it's fun to listen
Just
to.
then, I was
it's
picturing
fun
Seth
to listen
Rogen in
to
my head.
Aya and Millie like twist in the wind, hearing how silly this theory they have is, because no one else hears it. No one else hears it, but they swear they
Make
hear
sure.
it.
Make sure Seth
It's
Rogen.
literally like they've never seen a Seth Rogen movie. I have a
Close
feeling
your
they've
eyes.
never seen a single
Even
one.
though
of
this
these
has no video, so you can't see anything anyway. But close your eyes and just listen to his voice. And imagine
Picture Seth Rogen.
Or we
Are
close our
they-
eyes and hear your southern drawl.
Oh,
It's true.
only for
It's
you.
true. It's beautiful.
Next up, now that we're
Wait,
finished
you
with
didn't. You didn't finish asking the questions.
You didn't.
That's
There are two
literally
more
the next
questions.
thing that I'm fucking addressing. Do you think I'm going to skip over it? Jesus Christ, calm down. God,
Listen.
Buttery. Check your woman, bro.
Oh. Who did?
Billy, I need you to dog him even harder.
Okay, thank you. I will.
I knew it.
So we mentioned this earlier in the show. I'm going to come back to it, and I am genuinely interested in this. This is another one you can shoot us emails on if you like. So for a while, I was in a static with Aya. I was the monk in that static. That static just epically fell to
miserable.
pieces. And
Miserable.
we cleared nothing. And then the
Nothing.
day after we fell to pieces, I cleared Zervan EX with a group
Yep.
of randos.
Yep.
And boy, did I make sure everyone knew it. I took a victory lap in that kick chat like nothing you've ever seen, and it felt great.
Oh,
but the
man.
point I'm getting at here is since then, that was kind of the last thing that I wanted to do, and I've been kind of bored, and I haven't logged on much. I'm just waiting for Stormblood. I want Stormblood because I love this game, and I want to have a genuine reason to get back into it. But in that interim period, it seems like all of a sudden Monk has become the new Dragoon, and let me clarify. I don't give a shit because Monk is all I play, and it's all I'm gonna play. But I have to ask, where did that come from?
I believe it came from. I don't know.
You.
Honestly.
It
No,
came
you die all the
whoa,
time.
I am not that bad. You guys are making me seem like I'm the crappiest monk ever.
You're at least the second best monk in the FC.
You eat more floor than
Whoa.
an uncle at a Thanksgiving feast. Okay?
No. I eat maybe as much floor as you.
You
anyway,
eat more carpet than Tessa and Millie combined.
That's right.
Damn, that's a lot of carpet.
That's
Yeah.
bad.
That doesn't have anything to do with the game.
Oh, that's gross.
But anyway, so we went into Dunscaith, and that for some reason is my kryptonite. I cannot stay alive during it.
Who hurt
Anything
you?
else, I'm
tell
fine.
Tell me who hurt you in Dunscaith. I'll go kill them for you.
I'm sorry that I was the one trying to keep his ass alive.
I think everything in Dunscaith just about had me eating the floor.
I will admit, I mean, it was. I enjoyed it because it was probably the most challenging when it first came out of the 24-man raids, and mostly because it was more interesting and there were cool mechanics to it. I know a lot of people will scream, will scream Weeping City, but that's just because people were dumb.
Ozma.
Weeping City wasn't that fucking hard.
It was super easy.
No,
People just it was literally all you had to do for Weeping City to be successful is know where to put the meteors, and people just refuse. People just refuse to know where to put the meteors. It's like if there's basic mechanics, and then there's like one step into like the smallest amount of shit that hardcore or that raiders have to deal with, and that's like on the bottom floor. That's like floor number 1 of raiding, and people are still just like, what do I do with the purple marker?
I put it
There's
right
a big
in
shiny
front of
ball
everyone.
here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run into it with my friend.
And so, moving on, because we've got a lot of stuff to cover here, and we're like bells deep in this podcast right now. But last but not least, the last question. Disregard the last 2 questions, exclamation point. Hopefully you read through this and saw this and aren't reading it live. If so, it's gonna be super funny. And that's why the girls just kept interrupting me when I was intending to read all of their silly questions.
You're so mean.
It's all right.
I just want to go on record and say that I saw Aya type that personally.
Okay,
What?
I'll remember that, Aya.
You guys threw me under the bus. It was not even.
No, we all know it was probably Millie anyway. I feel like that was all Millie.
No, it wasn't.
Well, let's keep in mind we gotta get to the live letter, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about there. So,
Okay.
but before we get there, I wanna rein us back in here. Normally, the breakdown doesn't happen till the end once everybody's good and drunk. So let's try to tighten it up a little bit, guys, because we still have to go through our social events, and there's something we haven't talked about since we discussed the relaunch of the show. Because initially, in the early episodes, our grandmaster of social events on the podcast was Miss Miliana Gray, and then she just became more and more timid and kept backing up, and we ended up getting someone else to do it. So my question is Millie going to be our social events girl again? Is she going to be like whatever our version of like the cigarette girl from like the 1950s who'd walk around the sporting event like selling a tray of cigarettes with bunny ears on?
Yes.
Oh yes, that's
That is
Millie
Millie.
pegged.
I am wearing bunny ears in game.
All right,
It's true.
so you're pegged. Tell us about our upcoming social events.
Well, first one that's going to be coming up is the Booty After Dark presents a casino night. And we're going to have a casino glam contest where you can win 1 million gil for your best casino glam. And then we're going to have a cutest couple / RP couple. So you don't have to actually be dating the person or married in game to the person. You can have like a silly couple matchup, like if Buttery wanted to go with Curry or something like that. Who is this in-game father? And then we're going to have the silliest couple award and the cutest couple award. And both would get 4 million per couple.
Where's Corvo? Corvo, you hear me out there? We're going to this and we're going to win it.
Basically, it's a shot contest. And so it's been difficult in the past to kind of get people involved in this screenshot contest. So like 2 million gil each is some change. So
Yeah.
take screenshots of you and your mates, quote unquote, and make it silly or make it cute or do both. And see what you
Most
can
people
get.
are going to make it sexy. You know that. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you might win
That's your
both.
balance.
That's 8 million just up for grabs
Oh my
right
God.
there.
Right?
That would be spectacular.
So then we're going to have a triple triad tournament. And then the booty officers are going to have a chocobo race. It's going to be like a Vegas-style chocobo betting. And Buttery has a little bit more info on this one.
Yeah, well, basically what we're going to do is a week before the actual event, we're going to go ahead and post on Facebook and BootyFC.com on who is racing, and you'll have an opportunity to bet for your favorite, basically, who do you think is going to win. And we're going to do it's like a little we're doing this for the new housing, basically. So I will be matching all winnings, but all the proceeds go to Booty FC. So basically, we haven't decided on a cap yet, but if we say it's $1 million and you decide that you want to bet your gift for the winner and you happen to win, I'll match you your mil. I'll give you your mil out of my wallet. If you lose, that $1 million that you bet goes to Booty FC. It's just
That's a great idea.
it's just a way. It's a way to
Yeah.
get everybody involved, see your officers battle it head to head, and then not to mention help the FC out for the move in Stormblood.
Yeah.
That is a brilliant idea, by the way.
Oh, Buttery is brilliant. It was his idea in the first place.
It's a very great idea.
Pretty sure it was
Yeah.
Millie's, but
No.
Just like, no.
I'm not that smart. So then there's going to be a roulette or random giveaway throughout the night, and then there's going to be a booty raffle.
Mm-hmm.
And Aya is supposed to explain that one.
Okay, so like we've kind of already brought up, we're looking to move area. Anybody who's anybody is going to be in the new housing area, and we would love to move there and get a big awesome mansion in that beautiful, beautiful Asian style place. So we're looking to save money. We love to give out money, which is generally our problem. It's why we don't save up very quickly. But we want to save it. So we're going to give some out. We're also going to take it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a raffle. Think of it as kind of a fundraising event, but we have some serious prizes. We have $60 worth of Mog Station prizes to hand out, and also 2 time cards that are up for grabs. So the raffle will work a lot like past raffles, where I'll be selling candy drops, but there's only going to be 2 colors, like a red and yellow. You purchase like the red for 1 million gil. You purchase the yellow for 2 million gil. The yellow will be for 2 million gil a time card, a chance to win a time card. And for 1 million gil, a chance to win one of the Mog Station prizes. Whatever value that we decide to split it in. Multiple to enter your name multiple times. And I always use random.org, and I put in your name however many times into the generator that you have bought a drop. So it's all fair and equally done. And we're going to be giving away serious prizes and hopefully making a decent amount of money in order to move into the new housing area with RFC.
Woohoo!
That sounds great.
So
It's
before,
called
go ahead.
Take Kyo back to Doma, because that is my home.
Oh my
I
god.
mean, I think the biggest thing to understand is no matter what, this whole all these events are to help the free company, and
Yeah.
we want to be able to have the flexibility to go to Doma and say, hey, look, we want something to match what we have now, because we have an awesome courtyard, we have the perfect location for an FC house, and we just want the flexibility to be able to say, hey, this is what we want, this is perfect. and get us there. You know,
The
because
question is, who's camping spots to find this
Oh,
one?
Oh, yeah.
I will camp all the spots. I already took vacation days.
And that's
So I
actually
will
not
be
even the big
there.
question. The big question, there's a gigantic gap in this information download that you just presented us with, and I want to fill that in for you right now. So clearly, this is all taking place at Camp Drybone on May 33rd, right?
33rd.
Think about it.
it's not a month. I mean, it's not a day.
It's not a month,
I
nor,
know.
nor would any of this stuff happen at Camp Drybone. The point is, you haven't told them the where it is
Yeah.
probably pretty obvious, but the when would be useful.
I see what you did there.
There you
Oh,
go.
man. Well,
Well,
it's gonna be at the Gold Saucer, the casino night.
Clearly, but what day?
But when is this question we need answered?
The 10th
Well,
is of June.
I'm sorry,
When
you
is
cut out there for a second.
Yeah, you cut out.
The 10th of
The
June.
10th of June. Okay, fantastic. 10th of June at what time?
That's up for debate at
Okay.
this point.
We're still picking it.
Please look forward to it. So yes, please continue. Looks like we have another
Just pull
event
the
to talk about.
UGP.
That was the idea.
we do.
Oh,
So right here, Millie. Right here. Whoosh.
I see it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I
wanted
can
to highlight
read
it because I
good.
saw you moving around.
I read. good.
So we're
Hey,
you just wanted me to see you. I see
I
you.
did.
We also are going to have a prom night coming up, and there's going to be nominations for a king and a queen. It's going to be a Facebook poll, and people will be able to be nominated and voted on. And I notice you. I notice you, Aya.
So since this is clearly a visual medium that we're operating in, I just want everyone to know that we went out of our way to add a bunch of background noise of typing into the show to make a
Yes.
Notice Me Senpai joke that the listeners couldn't be in on. I just want to point that out. They couldn't possibly
It's
be in
also
on it.
bolded and in a bigger text.
It is actually.
Yeah.
You know what? Can we get someone? Can somebody go ahead and take a quick snapshot of that and put it up
Yeah.
on the Facebook page at BootyFC.com? That's fantastic
Will.
promotion from the show. Want to know what this joke is all about? Listen to the new episode. God, we are professionals. We are.
And I also want to say that
absolute
we're going to be having a Booty Bay Bash again in some point in the future, but that still needs to be planned.
You're gonna talk about this,
I just said the prom night.
but you didn't talk about what's in it.
Yes, that is correct.
Listen, I'm gonna need you two to calm down.
Yes.
I don't know what's in it yet.
I feel like you're getting triggered, and it makes
I
me
will.
triggered.
I will let you know. Don't worry.
Okay, so I'll fill in this gap for you. It looks like we're gonna have a king and queen of the booty on prom night. And
I already said
oh,
that.
did you already say that? Okay, I didn't hear that either. I didn't
And
hear that
then
either.
nominations are going to be on Facebook, and you're going to be able to vote.
Fantastic. On to the live letter.
Thank
Best
you.
segue ever. No, the 36th live letter happened just yesterday. Yesterday, as we're recording this, hopefully it's not going to be too much longer before I can get this episode to you. So there's probably going to be at least 2, if not 3 days in between the live letter and now. So chances are, you know all this, but you know if you're the type of person who would listen to a show about an FC but not necessarily pay attention to what's going to happen in Stormblood, I guess this is for you. And we're gonna sprinkle it with opinions and thoughts. So actually, Buttery shared with us this what I thought was a fantastic article from RPG Fan that really kind of took this like 11-hour thing that they did that was ludicrous in its length and condensed it pretty well. And I actually look at this and I say to myself, like, I've seen a bunch of videos, people recapping it, and this is pretty much all the pertinent information. So why did this take 4 hours? I don't know. I wasn't there. But let's move into the news for what's coming up in Stormblood, coming out of the 36th live letter. And you know what, Senior Buttery,
Yes, sir.
you have been very much a support role today. I need you to tank this one, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Tighten up those breachers, boys. We're going for a ride. So first of all, I think the biggest thing that they made changes to is the new job UI. So it's going to be fantastic. This little thing, you're going to have this little gauge almost, and depending on your job, it looks completely different. And it's basically to make everything a little more visual for you. You can see your defensive buffs, your attack buffs, your debuffs, whatever, and it sort of places it for you somewhere right in the middle of your screen where you can, of course, move it, but it gives you a better visual representation of what's going on with your job at that moment. And I don't know if I'm sure everyone has watched a video. Anyone who is interested has watched a video, and it's just something that we definitely had to bring up because that's going to be the major change to the battle system.
Well, sure, and don't let's not discount the fact that there may be very well be people who haven't taken the time or who don't have that level of interest. Don't
Right.
I mean, yeah, you don't need to spend the next 20 minutes on it, but go ahead and give them the rundown. Like for example, all y'all monks out there, and I'm sure that all the gauges pretty much operate the same way. This is literally just a gauge for us that basically helps you monitor your chakras and your grease lightning.
Yep. Every job has its own little kink to it, and that's what it is for. It's for example, I know more about paladins than I do about any other class, and for the paladin, I mean, it's awesome because it's a visual representation of your shield oath and your sword oath. You know which stance you're in for the stance, and
it's just kind of a bright, bold marker as opposed to a little icon that's exactly the same size as all of the buff and debuff icons that you have on, with a teeny tiny little number ticking down, which, don't get me wrong, at this point we've all become accustomed to, but boy, just because you're accustomed to something doesn't mean it's right. And I'm interested, once this gets implemented, to see... I'm interested to see how people receive it, because they've gone out of their way to make them big and bold and different. So you always, like, when you're playing your job, there's going to be no question what this gauge is if you haven't seen these images. If you haven't actually seen any of this, we should actually take this article and toss it up once we're done with the show, or I should say once the show drops. Can we toss this article on the Facebook page so that people can kind of reference what we're talking about? But there's some of these, if you watch a number of videos people have done out there, you can see these in action. And man, some of them are weird, but I can't speak to how well or not they're actually going to work. And I guess what I'm getting at is I'm interested to see how people feel about them once they're implemented. And I'm definitely looking right at the Black Mage gauge, because that thing just looks fucking strange to me. I have no clue what's going on in that. I've never played the class, but I have no clue what's going on in that gauge.
Right. Well, it has to perfectly depict, their class. So it has all the Umbral and Astral and Enochian and all that stuff. So it's unique to every class, which is awesome. I just want to point out for especially our member spotlight that the Samurais is more lackluster, to be honest. It's just a sword.
I think it has to do with this is just obviously speculation. I think it's going to have to be to do with kind of building it up for the that quick draw, kind of their big attack that's probably going to do a lot of damage. Looked to me like each time you kind of went almost like old Monk, where you'd go, or Monk now, where you'd go into the different stances. It had a couple different
He's already forgotten where he came from. You're talking about Forbidden Chakra, my friend.
Yes. Yes, it's a lot like Forbidden Chakra.
You think it's all building up to a heavy hit, like a combo finisher or something you blast.
Like
you want to blast, anything you'd blast a boss with at the end of their lifespan or before a jump. Essentially,
yes.
That's your theory.
I think it's going to be a lot to rely on that. And I think those 3 emblems and 3 little different slash emblems that were above the sword, I think those have to do with that. Every time I think you do kind of go through those 3 things, I think it's going to build up that gauge. But I could be completely wrong. It's just all speculation, because none of us know really what's going to happen with Samurai, because it's a mystery.
I'm excited, and I think we saw some things that you can draw some conclusions from in the video that was released. What do they call that? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. The video that shows all the moves for all the characters.
I also think that a big thing with the gauges that I liked in the video, it makes it feel a little bit more like a Final Fantasy. If having your gauge that's almost like a limit break gauge that used to have in every Final Fantasy game ever. And I think that's kind of cool, but we'll see. Definitely a lot of changes. I'm excited, though.
Me too. I think one of the biggest changes to the UI that I'm excited about was the buff, like the debuffs on the side. Supposedly, the debuffs that you can dispel now have a little icon or like a little line underneath to show you that you can dispel them. So there's no more like I wonder if I can Asuna that. Let's waste some time and mana to Asuna this. Yeah, that's exactly the sound I make. And then you find out that you can't Asuna it. You look like an idiot, and you just wasted some valuable HPS or DPS to do that. So it'll be nice to have some kind of distinction.
They've definitely been listening to the players. I mean, it's very obvious to see all the changes that they've made, especially once we'll get into it. But like PvP is the hugest one.
Well, I
It's
think this
amazing.
is the first chance they've had to really do a large scale overhaul. I mean, Heaven's Ward wasn't the time. 3.0 was not the time for a huge overhaul. Once you had already done a huge overhaul, switching everything over from 1.0 to 2.0, 3.0 just kind of had to be like the best possible continuation of current systems while giving people, gaining feedback from the player base and giving the design team there a chance to actually meaningfully fix some of this shit. Because one of the biggest things that's happening here is these new role actions, right, that are essentially replacing the cross-class system, and that in and of itself is like some of the last vestiges of what people hated about 1.0 finally going away. So can you take us through that, Buttery?
Yeah, so basically back in the day, you want to level up a paladin, so you got to take a gladiator to 30, you got to take a white mage to 15. Scratch that. You pick your gladiator, you get your jobs done at 30, but you no longer have to go and unlock warrior so you can get your foresight. You don't have to go, these are now job action. You get a tank, you unlock a tank, you get access to the job actions at the required level. So that is one of the things that I personally enjoy most, because you're sitting there and you're getting exactly what you need for the role that you need, and you're not forced into leveling something you don't want to level.
Shout out to my buddy Vilcus Greywolf, who only started a couple months ago and is constantly telling me how much he hates that. And I keep telling him, just wait, because you're going to be pissed. You're going to be pissed because you're going to go through all of it, and then it's going to have been pointless.
So they've essentially gave us new ones and also redid a few, but also picked the best ones and kept them. I mean, I could go on a full list of the ones that they kept and all that, but we'll all find out soon enough.
Well, I think you can really summarize it just by saying the cross-class abilities are gone, right? And you're essentially just going to... They basically looked at the cross-class abilities. So the problem, for shorter-term players, people are just kind of getting into it. The problem was always that the cross-class system was originally implemented to try and give you customization options, and that's not what happened. Everything became about best in slot. It became like it wasn't about what abilities you could get and how you could custom build your character. It was literally, oh, you're using this class and you're not using these cross-class abilities, your shit, go away. And that was the problem. It just all became about this best in slot. So instead of pushing back on that, they're just swerving into it, and they're taking out all this bullshit with these cross-class abilities and just saying, look, these are the optional tools for your character, but at the end of the day, these are what you're going to need. And it also takes away from a lot of the copy abilities, like everybody had to have a stun, and it's like all these basically abilities between classes or jobs, I should say, that acted exactly the fucking same, but they had to be their own ability for some reason, and so all it was doing was promoting ability bloat for every single fucking job out there. And I think that's one of the best things they're addressing here, because holy shit, my understanding is that Monk has one of the simpler rotations, and I'm fine with it now, but man, that shit took time to learn. I don't know if I'd want to deal with a more complex rotation than that.
You know what I wonder is if the elimination of cross-class abilities, turning it into role actions, if that will affect crafting at all.
Do they do that in crafting? Were there cross-class abilities for crafters?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you have to level all the crafters in order to get all the things in order to do to craft the perfect 4-star high quality thing. Like, you need every single ability from every single crafter.
And
so you
people
can't
hated
just
that,
be
right?
a blacksmith.
That's why everyone hated like the 50 to 60 slug, right? That was like one of the So I would be amazed if that isn't also rolled over into this, but we don't know, because another thing I've heard a lot when looking up information on this, and not having watched the live letter myself, was that it was apparently stressed that all of this information is still, while everything is much more concrete than it was a few months ago, all of this is still still subject to change. Everything is still in flux. We'll see what we get when we get to Stormblood. Hopefully, this isn't something that's going to change because it's something they've been talking about doing for years. But you never know.
Yeah.
Right. One of the bigger things that I would definitely want to add there for all our machinists and bards is you no longer have casting time.
Woo!
Move around freely and do what you want now. So
Independent bard or machinist don't need no casting time.
and then sprint. Let's be honest here.
Oh, it's
No
gonna
more
save my
TP.
butt. No more deciding whether I want to keep whatever I need up.
Keep your DPS high.
Or lose it out to the horrible TP sucking that my monk does.
Yeah, we're just
use it and be
TP
like,
beasts.
oh yeah,
And
I know, right?
maybe it'll help your survival rating too.
Well, you know what? Number one. I'm just going to point out that the whole survival thing, that's not even a monk thing. That's a dragoon thing. You're just superimposing at this
Not
point.
even.
Nobody makes that
They
joke
are.
about.
Don't listen to them. They're just mean people. They're jealous because they can't punch stuff.
And
as
two,
well as I do.
I'm going to point this out. I don't know exactly what classes can provide additional TP. But I know they exist, and I know the whole purpose of that TP bar being added about a year ago. The little TP bar next to my HP and my MP was so that my asshole teammates could actually see that maybe the monk's getting low and help him out. And I gotta tell you, here I think we're a little over a year on since that happened. I can count on my penis the number of times someone has helped me with my fucking TP running out.
Oh wow, it's that
Okay,
long?
so goad will be a job role for all melee.
What?
Dragoon,
Are you
monk,
serious?
and ninja will have goad.
That should be.
I'm gonna toss out that spoiler there. Screw it.
No, that's fine because
Thank you for that
I've
spoiler.
heard that a lot of the cross class stuff, like the theory is that invigorate's probably going away. I hope that we're keeping, and I can't remember the name of it, but the other ability you can use your full stacks of chakra on that gave you TP, because the monk basically, as a monk, you have to
Purification.
Thank you. Yes, you have to have invigorate and purification to be fucking useful in any instance, and even then you have to be real fucking smart about the way you manage that shit.
Yes.
Because if you are doing your job properly, Jesus Christ, there's like TP like falling off your fists while you punch the shit out of it. Like you're burning through it like nobody's business.
Oh yeah.
But that being said, there are some cool job action adjustments actually as well. I loved this, and this is another one I'm going to let you explain because I think I understand it, but I want to make sure I'm correct here. This whole idea of multiple levels of a single spell or ability being compressed into one and kind of being auto chosen depending on your level.
Correct. So basically, to keep it simple, stone 1, 2, and 3, they're adding 4. You are a level 1 white mage, you're gonna have access to stone 1. You unlock stone 2, it's automatically replaced on your action bar, on your hotbar with stone 2. You're no longer gonna have to have it on your hotbar. It will be automatically replaced. You go into your level 70 and you sink down to Sestasha, you're level 19, it automatically sinks you down to the correct stone. Whether it's 1 or 2, I don't remember. I think it's 1. But so it's eliminating basically the need to have all this extra skills that you never use in a raid. You're going into A10S, and yeah, you're going to use Stone 1, definitely. Like, it's ridiculous, but you keep it on there because you're always running synced content. So that is one of the things that I love the most.
So take us through these stat changes. That's another relatively detailed part. So take us through these stat changes. That's another relatively detailed part of this. And actually, this is another one. To be frank, I think I get it, but not really playing a tank. It's not something I have to like. I didn't have to worry too much about accuracy. I didn't have to worry too much about parry. So take us through the deets there.
Okay, so a lot of the stat changes I missed because I was distracted by Aya and Millie in comm. But from what I did pick up. No, from what I did
What were
pick
they
up.
doing? Hang on, sidebar. What were they doing?
It was crazy. They didn't think I was in there. Let me tell you, it was very much a fan service.
Boob. All you had to do was say boobs. All you had to do was say boobs. We could have moved on.
No. It wasn't boobs. It was definitely a little more south. But I don't get too much into that. But Perry is being removed, and it's going to be replaced with tenacity. So basically, it's going to increase the damage dealt by the player and lower the damage they receive as well. Accuracy is the big one. Accuracy as a stat, as a main stat in gear, is going to be removed. Accuracy is still going to be a thing, but it's going to be level based. So you're the same level as the mob you're attacking. Your accuracy front is 100. You're affected by blind, of course, it's going to go down. You will have an accuracy increase if you go flank. It may jump to 110 or 120, whatever. Doesn't mean you're going to do interdimensional attacks and you're going to hit every time. It's just it going up. That's all it is. So if you go and attack an ad that's one level higher than yours, it's going to be basically prorated down. So that is how accuracy is going to be handled.
How does that work for raid bosses?
From what they were saying, the raid bosses weren't actually that much higher than you, and it wouldn't be affected as much as you think. So they didn't go too much into detail with that, but it seemed like it was going to be a... I was pretty hyped for it from what I was able to chime in on, so...
Hello, I'm back. Had some technical difficulties, I think.
Holy
Welcome back.
shit. I feel bad. You were gone?
He was only gone for a few seconds.
Okay,
and
I was
moved
like, I'm
right
not even
back in.
joking. I didn't realize he was gone.
No, it was only for a few seconds. Did I miss anything good?
No.
You missed
Was-
boobs. Everybody whooped. Everybody whooped.
Yeah.
boobs.
Yeah. Everybody was like, look at these suckers.
Yep.
And
these
you weren't there.
suckers.
Millie was probably talking bad about monks.
What?
No,
Oh,
actually, you missed it. She was like, monks, yeah.
I knew it all along.
So let's talk a little bit about these new job skills. So this job action trailer came out with the 36 live letter. Everyone got really amped about that, and it is really cool. It's just a showcase of all the new abilities that we are going to get for all of the different jobs in Stormblood. There are definitely some standouts. The two that everyone is talking about is the big old dragon for the summoner. I'm assuming that's supposed to be Bahamut.
Bahamut.
Yeah, that's my assumption. And then unless they just said it, and because again, I didn't watch it.
They did say it. It
Okay.
was, but it was Japanese. All I heard was Bahamut,
Well, I mean,
da-da-da-da.
you knew they had to be coming. You knew this had to be coming when we got Zelphatal as a dungeon, because they went out of their way in the MSQ. Yes, that's the MSQ for those of you who don't like to do it or pay attention.
Shut up.
I do.
Yeah.
They went out of their way to
there
mention.
are way worse people than
Oh, I know. I'm giving her shit because she's not caught up. I want to
You
point out.
know
I want to
me.
point out that I'm avoiding talking about spoilers from 3.5 or 3.6 because she doesn't know.
I run a freaking free company. Every time I start to do it, something comes up.
Because
I'm
I
like,
literally,
oh,
I
I'm
literally
gonna
wanted
be
to take some time to
That's
talk
what-
about how
well,
excited
you
we
know
are about
what?
the story, but we can't do it.
I will say this: now Buttery's here,
Oh.
so he can pick up the slack while you finish the story. You
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to defend her because all I see is her running around the FC house.
Listen.
I was
Ooh.
redecorating.
No, as we've learned in the past, Buttery, before you were a regular on the show, as we have learned, some of the most important shit in this game is the hairstyles and the new housing items. That's
Oh,
really
shut
important
up.
stuff that people care about. So
It is in game. True in
It
game.
is in game. It is.
to pull
You have to
this
look
back.
cool.
To pull this back,
No.
at some point, and I imagine this is going to be you build towards it and you get to summon Bahamut. Summoners are now able to summon bigger summons, so you can shut up about that and you can be happy. And now you can start complaining about all the other giant summons that you want to have in the game, because I'm sure that's where at this point you don't even have Bahamut yet and you're already bitching about it. I'm certain of that.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool because from the video it looked like you had to sacrifice your pet, but you only
Yes.
had it for a limited time. So that's one of the big things. You're not just going to sit there and be OP as shit all the time with this big old dragon,
Yeah.
Yeah.
sort of flying behind
Cool
you.
down.
So
Cool down no
Which is
It
crazy.
is very cool. Down.
It is.
And then the other
I
ability.
just want to point out,
Yes, go ahead.
in Final Fantasy XI, you had all those big summons, and it was flipping awesome. So that's
Yeah.
why people bitch about it.
Like
Yeah.
the little
Why can't we
Tarus
have
with the
it?
big summons were crazy.
we're
Like
going to need you two to
Leviathan?
calm down. We're going to need you two to calm down.
Fenrir, Shiva.
Fenrir.
Well, you can just go play shitty Final Fantasy 15, where they were like, "Isn't it cool if we make summons 50 stories tall? People will forget how shitty the game they're playing is as long as the summons are."
There's
Yeah.
a middle
Yeah.
ground. My
Played
goodness.
So anyway, the other ability that everybody was glomming onto, which made sense, they knew what they were doing, and they put this at the end. I was watching the video the whole time, and I'm like, they keep skipping Paladin. Why are they skipping Paladin? Why haven't we seen Paladin yet? And then we got to the end of the video, and you got this fantastic-looking ability where the Paladin takes a knee mid-combat and sprouts these gigantic aether wings, and
It looks like it's coming from the shield, correct?
it looks like it's coming from their back, to be frank.
It doesn't matter where they come from because it's flipping off.
It looks beautiful,
let's be
and so
It
my
is.
understanding is it's essentially going to be some kind of cooldown ability that's going to protect everything within a conal area behind the Paladin. Which holy shit, could this be a more Paladin ability? Like this is what this is like the essence of what Paladin should have always been. Like
I agree.
the tank's tank, and hopefully this and the little tweaks of love that they're getting in their abilities are going to bring Paladins back to prominence, because it always I remember in the middle of Heavensward there was a huge dip where everyone was shitting on Paladins, and
Because they didn't do enough DPS.
and it's
quote,
and,
unquote.
and
what?
that's the thing. It's like a Paladin should be the primary tank. I was going on the Discord about this last night. It's great. Like I love the variety, but at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck how much DPS a warrior does because it's a fucking tank.
Yeah, that's right. Eat
Well,
it.
then you get those warriors who can't hold hate. But besides that, this hits home for me because I am a paladin, and I have been a paladin since I started playing. This is my first MMO, and I chose paladin as my role, and I stuck with it. I've gotten a lot of shit about it for being a paladin, and this one hits home for me because I'm really excited about the AOE combo that we're getting. So we're gonna be able to do more AOE damage. One of the thing is we still kept hollowed ground. Hollowed ground is a job role. So all the tanks will have hollowed ground. So you're getting rid of, I think, home gang, and I think you're getting rid of Living Dead. From what I understand, I'm not too sure on that one, but I know they're getting. I mean, they're not just going to let you have a Hollow Ground and a Living Dead.
Yes,
I mean,
it's very likely, depending on based on what they've been saying.
But this skill that the Paladin is getting with those Aether Wings or Ice Wings, whatever you want to call them, that supposedly, from what Yoshi P was saying and what was translated into English, was the tank doing the ability will block 100% of incoming damage. Everyone behind him, 15%. Even if you don't protect your team, you use that in raid, just a second hollow ground. That right there is the biggest thing. Like
that makes so much sense.
That solidifies the paladin's role as main tank.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep, and it's nice to see. It's just nice to see them getting that love because like everything about the paladin job is it's quintessential tank, and they have and to me, like, just again, this is an outsider looking in, I feel like they've just taken such a backseat to Warriors and Dark Knights for so long now, and I'm not sitting here saying okay, I'm sure all Warriors and Dark Knights, where's our big flashy ability? Shut the fuck up. Especially Warriors, you've been dominant for long enough. Like and I doubt this is gonna bring a Paladin like break them to a point where they're a million times better. I think it's just gonna bring them back up to your level. So
balance them out a bit. It's gonna be
hopefully that's the goal, is to balance
I hope
everything.
Well, I mean, one of their biggest flaws is the fact that they like to cast clemency in the middle of a fight.
Listen, I'm sorry that
Millie been into shit on all
Whoa,
the jobs today.
Millie. If you were doing your job, they wouldn't have to clemency.
Like, I'm gonna have to get with
Maybe
you.
if I wasn't so busy
Maybe you stayed
rezzing
alive. Maybe you stayed alive. I wouldn't have to cleanse myself.
Yes.
Maybe if I wasn't so busy rezzing a dirty monk the entire fight, I could concentrate more on healing.
Don't talk about Carudus like that. Okay?
That's fine. That's fine. I'll be dirty monk. I'm cool with that. That's very Master Roshi-ish. I like that. My favorite NPC in this game is Hamon Holyfist, and he's a dirty fucking monk, my friend. I guess he's technically a dirty pugilist, but anyway. I don't know.
I want to add before we move on.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
No,
we're not moving on from job actions. But what would you like?
No, good. I want to say job actions. Speaking of job actions, after watching the video, I have been purely white mage for 3 years. That's it. That's the only job I have to 60 because I love it. It's been so much fun.
Same with me and Monk.
But after watching the job action video, we got shit on.
The Astrologians have the coolest healing.
Oh
I know, but
wait.
we
so
didn't get
so you have
anything
no
cool
clue what they
besides, like,
do.
the-
It just doesn't look good enough for you.
No, listen. We get a stone 4. You can tell it was a stone 4 because it was a different stone. Basically, we're throwing square stones at people now.
Oh, yeah.
And we get the troll ability, which I think that everybody gets, where you can pull somebody out of something.
That's
So
going to be all healers are going to have that
Yeah,
ability.
that's what I was thinking. But still, like, I'm sitting here imagining myself being in a fight and dealing with the whiny DPS for people that I don't know, not booty people. Booty people are amazing. And they sit there and say, well, pull me out of the AoE.
That's what I'm gonna do to you. I'll be
Oh,
sure.
I swear
Well,
you.
Or
I will
they'll
come,
be like,
Maybe
I will
you should just
teabag the
get.
crap out of your face.
Maybe you
You
should just
messed
get
up
good
my
at the ability
DPS.
that's not even out yet. Maybe you should
Yeah.
just get good at it already. I mean, we've known about it for
maybe.
24 hours. We've known about it for a solid 24
sorry.
hours.
I'm sorry. I'm being a pleb right now. But I'm telling you, after watching it, like, I've always thought white mages need a little love. They're kind of lackluster compared to the other two healers. The other two healers they have epic things. White mages have usually been dominant, but once they buffed the other thing for Scholar, and then they buffed the Astros, and now white mages are kind of like, you guys stand in the back and you cast your little cures, okay? I'll take care of everything else.
So what if like that ability where you're pulling someone out of danger? What if that was like
Yes.
you pulled out Wonder Woman's glowing lasso and grabbed them with it and pulled them back? Would that be flashy enough?
No.
it still sounds like you're just upset about flashy looking.
No,
things.
it's not about flashy looking. It's about gypped, because every other ability that they had in the video, we already have.
You're
It's
just
like
you're,
you're just
I'm
showing
sorry.
things
You're
that we already
you're
have.
mainlining HP. That is your job. Your
One of
job
the
is to be an
things-
IV drip. That is your job.
So one of the concerns with White Mage is the fact that we didn't see Virus as a job role.
Mhm.
So, but they did cast 2, if I remember correctly, on the video. They casted 2 things on the DPS at the same time, which could
Mhm.
be some sort of damage mitigation ability, which they desperately need.
Yes,
They are by
yes.
far the best healer per se.
Yes.
But Scholar and
Tank healer.
Astro, tank healer. But Scholar and Astro, of course, have the mitigation, the damage mitigation abilities. So we don't know. They did not go into detail too much. We still have
Not on
E3
any
before
of the
Stormblood.
classes.
No,
Mhm.
I mean, I think the biggest ones that they honestly gave credit to were the Paladins and the Black Mages, because the Black Mage now has the ability to cast 3 Fire 4s moving, no cast times,
Yep.
one after the other. They have the
crazy.
ethereal manipulation back to their ley lines. Those were the things that they really focused on. So if they
Mhm.
didn't focus too much on White Mage, I think they gave it some love, and I think they're not too worried about how it's going to be received. I think we just got to wait for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you really think, there was a total discrepancy about how in depth they got about different things. Like okay,
Yeah.
for instance, did they even talk about what that fucking frog was for the ninjas? What the fuck was that frog?
No, let's talk about those ley lines that the ninja had. Screw the frog.
Yeah.
What was it
That was
standing
cool.
in that allowed
Like
it
the
to do like
crazy,
3
like-
ninjutsus
I
at
know.
the same time?
I have
It was
no clue.
amazing.
I have no
Symbol
clue,
on
but
the
it looked
ground.
it looked what the thing that
It
excited
did.
me more than anything was did anyone notice the monk has some sort of new ability that when I don't even know what it is. It's like either like I think you pop something and either you're doing something near to friendlies or other friendlies are doing something near to you, and they are basically charging your chakras for you.
Yes,
Like being
so it's
close to
pretty
someone
much-
is charging chakras for you,
Yeah.
which
So
means
a
I'm
monk
gonna get
is
the
pretty
forbidden
much
chakra
turned-
people more,
So-
and it's awesome.
So, Karudis, you pretty much turned into Goku, and that's you powering up into a Super Saiyan.
That's fucking fantastic, man. But no,
Beautiful.
it's Super Saiyan God because
Yes.
he needs multiple. I'm a Dragon Ball guy. I'm not gonna let you say it wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the video. I guess in summation, it's loaded with so much of this shit, and people are making. I mean, we're making a lot of assumptions about a lot of things, but at the same time, they went into depth about things. Just it almost seemed random. The honest truth is, just having seen these live letters in the past and reading transcripts, to me, Yoshi P, that's just the way he is. Like, he's just going to talk about what's on his mind at the moment. I don't think he comes into this like, these are the beats I need to hit and I need to tell each job about this. He just fucking talks about whatever's on his mind at the
Yeah,
moment.
it's funny because in
true,
the
it's
introduction,
true.
like, okay, we're gonna show you the the job classes and whatnot, and then he immediately gets into his little Lala gets into a swimsuit and then jumps in the water. Like, And then the chick that's like translating, she's like, okay, apparently we're just gonna swim for a little bit. And it's like, hey, Yoshi P does what Yoshi P wants.
Yes, it's true.
Yep.
That's what makes him so great.
So before we do move on to have Buttery walking us through the PvP changes, just talking about this video got me thinking. I want to briefly touch on this, and I just kind of want to take the temperature of the room and see what you guys thought. But I'll summarize my feelings pretty succinctly here. Revolutions is no Dragon Song. I don't like it. I don't like it. It just felt so like it felt like one of the more completely uninspired pieces of Uematsu music ever.
You really feel that? That's strong.
I really do.
Wow.
I felt nothing from. I'm watching that video and I'm just like, okay, you're managing to make me like not care about Susan Calloway or this song. I just didn't care. I didn't care.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe like I have to get into Stormblood and I have to get attached to the story, and that'll make I don't know, because I will say like Dragon Song, that song grew on me more over time, because when I got into it and realized that a Dragon Song was essentially the story of Shiva and Hraesvelgr, and it made it more awesome. But at the same time, I was underwhelmed by Revolutions, and I just wanted to know what everyone else thought.
I actually have not heard Revolutions on its own yet, or at least I guess I haven't paid attention to it too much. But that's what happened for me with the Dragon Song. I also was not a big fan of it at first. Like you said, it kind of grew on me. I think that's probably what it'll do us as well as for Stormblood. But like I said, don't know.
I hope so.
Haven't really
I don't
heard
want
it
to
too
dislike
much.
anything Uematsu does. He's a god. Go ahead.
I see where you're coming from, because honestly, when the video was first posted and people were going crazy, they're like, teasers, here's the Revolution video, like go take a look. And so I was excited. I was gonna go take a look, but honestly, I didn't even finish the video.
I haven't been able to get through the whole thing either.
Yeah.
It's like 5 minutes long, and it's just. I'm sorry. I don't know. Who knows? The only. You know what though? I was probably a little more interested in the video than you, because at least I had an idea of like what was going on, because I finished the MSQ.
Oh my goodness! I swear to you, one day we will meet, and I will punch you physically.
You have no idea how badly like I want to finish the show by just like talking a little bit about how Heavensward was the story and how it ended and how we're leading into, but we can't, because there's spoilers at the end of it.
I'm so busy.
That's all right.
always. Thank you.
We'll take over for you, and you can finish your story.
You know what we could do? She could just plug her ears. She could just put her fingers in her ears.
Yes.
I was gone for 6 months and I still did the story.
Oh.
You son of a bitch! You turned at me and I was there for you.
Can someone do that World Star horn? Where's that World Star horn? We need that thing.
World Star Hip Hop. I don't know the horn though.
That beep 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 that they always do in those
Oh,
videos.
yeah, that was good enough.
That was good.
Okay, so anyway, we're almost done here. We're almost done with going through all the major stuff from the live letter. So Buttery, why don't you take us through the PvP changes, because I know that's something you guys care about.
I love PvP. It's fun.
I think it's fun. I've never really super gotten into it.
So the biggest thing is the level restriction is removed, so that any job over 30 can now participate. The PvP attributes basically are, once you go in to PvP, you are immediately given a new hotbar. You're going to have, from what I understood, it was 9 action slots. So what was super cool about it is the fact that if you feel like 9 actions aren't enough, your entire rotation will fit in to 1 square. So again, I don't know. I haven't ventured off too far from paladins. I basically have a paladin and a white mage, and I was working on a monk before I decided to delete it. But
Wow.
But no, the biggest thing is, for example, a paladin. You have your Rage of Halone combo. Fast blade, savage blade, and then Rage of Halone. It's all one button. You hit it once, fast blade disappears. Your next combo in the rotation pops up. Hit it again, the next one that one disappears, and the next one pops up. So it's like full-on consolidation of these skills in PvP. It's going to be 9 plus 2 from what I understand, so you'll be able to use job action rolls and then plus your PvP skill. So
I wonder how it's going to work for healers.
Well, yeah, it's true, but I don't know. The hype was real. They simplified it a lot. No one wanted to do PvP because then you're adding what was it like 9
Yep.
PvP
Yeah.
skills onto an already crazy hot
You
bar.
have to have an entirely different like setup. Yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah.
It's just fucky right now.
It was stupid. I mean, you go in there and it's like, oh well, now I'm gonna go queue for A9S, but I have these PvP things on my hotbar. Now I gotta delete them. It was a hassle. So now you're getting a whole new hotbar when you decide to PvP, which is I think fantastic.
Yeah, I think all this sounded awesome. I think it's going to make everything more like a level playing field and more like the chess game that frankly PvP should be. It should be more.
Yeah.
It should be more about your skill than the shit that you walk into it equipped with.
Yeah.
The only thing that got me about this, I don't know how I feel about no stuns in PvP. To me,
That's part of PvP.
it's part of the chess game.
Yeah.
To me, it's part of the chess game. That was the only
It
thing
is.
that stood out to me, and I'm like, why? Like, I kind of get it. Like, yes, if I'm fighting somebody, it's incredibly frustrating to have somebody else stun me. But again, like that's a team dynamic, man. Like I don't know. That was the. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's gonna blow it up at all. I think it's still gonna be super fun. Like all this stuff makes me want to get into PvP and Stormblood. But at the same time, maybe it's just something I'm missing, not having played much. But I feel like stuns will be something people are gonna miss.
As a paladin, that was my role. I would not DPS when I was PvPing. I would literally stun lock the shit.
Done.
I will stun lock you every 15 seconds. I'm going to hit you with, 15 seconds. It was like every 3 seconds I'm going to hit you with the stun, and you're going to sit there and you're going to take all the damage my team has to give you.
Yeah,
Except
that's
for
the team
diminishing
dynamic,
returns,
right?
which thank goodness, because if I was a white mage and I saw a paladin, I would run like a little bitch.
Right. And then, sleep potency, of course, is reduced, which is awesome because that was the biggest thing. You see a paladin,
That's
you put
all
his ass
I
to
have.
sleep. You put his ass to sleep, and then you kill
Yeah,
him before he can
that's
stun
how I
lock you.
got away. I was like, go away, bitch. Sleep.
So, but so it's going to allow 9 actions per job with 2 selectable actions and the Adrenaline Rush limit break, which is, of course, nothing changing. Everyone gets their separate limit break.
So, last but not least, to wrap this up, talk to us a little bit about the jump potions, which were legend before, but now a very, very real thing. And I'm
Yes.
sure there's going to be some split opinions on this. But first, can you just run us down the 2 different potions they've discussed, the restrictions on those potions, and then we can chat what we think about them.
So, okay, the $18, you get a potion that'll skip you through a Realm Reborn. Simple as that. You get up to level 50, you skip all the MSQ, you get all the job actions up to level 50. The $25 one is for Heaven's Word, straight to 60. You skip all the MSQ, you skip all the job MSQ roles as well, the missions. You have everything unlocked. Both of them give you appropriate gear to your level. So if you buy the $25 one and immediately want to run a dungeon, you're getting your level 60 gear with it. So you are able to queue up for any dungeon ready to go. So that's, simply put, that's as best as I could put it.
The only caveat I think that's worth pointing out is that those 2 prices are set in stone for what you get. Meaning, if you go ahead and you pay the 18 to skip through a Realm Reborn, and you play some Heaven's Word, and then decide you just want to go straight to Stormblood, you're still paying $25. You're not going to end up paying whatever the difference is there. So this is, to me, this is just kind of simple and clean. Like, look, either you want to experience what we've done in the past, or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You want to see the story or you don't want to see
my
it?
honest to God opinion is the story is beautiful. Don't
It
skip
is.
out on it.
I
Do not
agree with
skip
you
out on it.
100%.
I
It
think
is.
it's one
They
of the. I think it's one of the things that. Sorry to interrupt. I think it's one of the things that maybe stands out in this MMO compared to other MMOs is the story part of it.
Well,
Yep.
that's what's got me. This is my first MMO, and MMOs never really appealed to me prior to this, because I had enough friends who talked to me about them. I kind of understood what they were, and the thing is, like, I'm a JRPG guy, primarily a Final Fantasy guy. Like, Final Fantasy is my favorite franchise. So there you go. I found an excuse to say it in this episode too. I say it in every episode.
What?
But the thing is that this franchise is built on the strength of its story. Like the story is the back. Well, I'm sorry, from 12 downward. it was built on the strength of story. After that, it became some weird Kingdom Heartsy shit that makes no sense. But so when I heard that the story in this game was actually really good, that's what made me kind of take the leap. And then when I got into it, I was like, holy shit! And especially Heavensward. If you are someone who just kind of started and you're looking at this and you're considering these jump potions, like, I'm sure there's a multitude of reasons, but if you're in this game for the story and you're listening to this, I would say, if nothing else, if you're an old school Final Fantasy fan, you need to play Heavensward, because Heavensward, the MSQ of Heavensward feels so much like a classic Final Fantasy. The game is literally a small group, the story is a small group of adventurers on a quest, moving from place to place. There's a fucking camping scene that's straight out of Final Fantasy X. I mean, it's amazing how well they hit all those classic beats in Heavensward. The story's good. Yep. You're dumb if you skip it.
You're gonna get enough help. I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, chances are you're either thinking about joining Booty or you're already part of Booty. You're going to get a ton of help. Don't worry. You're not going to traverse 1 through 70 alone. We're all going to be here to help you. I would say get the experience, get the in-game experience. And, if you really want to use it for another class once you get the in-game experience down, because I think that you're going to miss out a huge part of what the game is.
Well, and that leads us to another point, because one of the things I tell people when they start this game, and I've noticed this especially with my friend Vilkas, another shout out to Vilkas, when he came in, he was constantly sending me texts and asking me all these questions about the game, and I just kept saying, just play the MSQ, you can come back to that shit, play the MSQ. And I finally, we finally had a conversation about it, and I was like, here's the thing, man, the way A Realm Reborn is built, it is built to teach you how to play the game. Literally, the initial MSQ through the beginning to the end of 2.0, moving into 2.1, is designed solely to teach you how to play the game. Yep. And then in 2.1, you could start doing endgame content, right? And Heavensward is just kind of a rinse and repeat of that. So, the game is already built to teach you how to do it, and all you really need to do is do the MSQ. Now, I know people get bogged down and want to do all the cool side quests, and I get that, and I realize that also is another reason, a lot of people just want to wash their hands of it and skip it. But man, even the side quests in these games are fantastic. The Crystal Tower raid was fantastic. The story was great. Alexander got good at the end. But the fights are a lot of fun. It's just if you're in this as a Final Fan, oh my God, Hildy. Oh, I genuinely hope he's not an afterthought in Stormblood like he was in Heavensward. But if you are coming to this game like I was because you are an old school Final Fantasy fan, this potion is not for you. I treat it like and I realize the whole idea, the whole desire is to play with your friends and do this endgame content and stuff. I would honestly, my advice to you would be, if you're jumping in now and you're thinking about skipping, you should. This is the positive way to look at it. Here's the half glass full look. You have 2 entire Final Fantasies worth of content to pretty much play by yourself and with random people and enjoy and have a great time and have your friends help you and still be involved in a community, and then you can do the end game shit in Stormblood.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't take that long to level.
I think, and also for me, when I started out, that's how I met so many friends, was through the leveling. Friends that I'll probably have forever, just not in this game. Friends that I still talk to every day, whether it be through text or other things, just from, leveling up with us people together. We were like, hey, you're the same level. We should do these dungeons together and learn our classes.
It's how I met Aya.
Yep.
When I was a lowly pleb.
I was like, oh my gosh, she's secretly funny.
Well, there is one more thing we still need to talk about for all of the lowly plebs that I don't know. Maybe I'm so salty about this that maybe don't want to work for it. I think it's the best way I can say it. There is one other version of this jump potion, so it's basically a level boost potion. So talk us through that, Buttery.
That is, I think, if I remember correctly, isn't that the same thing?
Well, you've got there's two separate. You're gonna have potions that will allow you to skip A Realm Reborn and skip Heaven's Ward, but then there are
But
going
each
to be
potion takes you to a certain level. So the $18 one takes you to level 50, skipping Realm Reborn, and the Heaven's Ward 25 takes you to 60.
But there's not a separate. So what you're okay? See, maybe I'm not understanding this correctly, and so I'm glad I brought this up.
Yeah.
Because it was my understanding was there was a separate potion. There's a potion for each job. There was a potion for each job that you could buy, except for Samurai and White Mage. They're not doing those because there's no point, because they're already going to start at level 40, I believe. But there's a potion for each. I'm sorry, yes, Red Mage. There's a potion for each job that will take you to 60. That's completely separate from the story stuff. There's potions for
yeah, you're right.
There's potions for
I'm
jumping
sorry.
story, and there's potions for just leveling a character. So if you're like some schlub like me who's only played one class his entire time, and the closest thing I have is I think I have a 54 warrior because I had dreams of tanking one day that I just fell out of favor with it, but or it fell out of favor with me. But yes, so there will be this separate potion, and you'll pay $25. You'll get your character up to 60. So you still got to do those last 10 levels. But I think that's the kind of offset people just trying to jump in end game content, not knowing what they're doing. But the other caveat to that is, for now, again, no Red Mage, no Samurai, but for now, you are only going to, per account, be able to purchase one of these potions. So if you want to level your Paladin to 60, you can pay $25 and do that, but you can't buy one for anything else. And my understanding was they essentially said, we're going to see how this goes at first, and there may come a time down the road where we remove this restriction.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I completely misread that, and I didn't put it down on my notes well enough. But yes, you're absolutely right. So it is going to be, for example, if you want to get your character to 60, and you also want to skip MSQ, that's going to be $50.
Yeah, because they had some weird name for each one of them that had like the job and the name. I don't know, like fucking lotion of the White Mage or some shit like that. I don't know. You rub it on your skin and it makes you strong.
Mm. Yeah.
All I have to
That
say
little
is,
sound you
if
made.
it's
Sorry.
if you wonder at all what a jump potion is going to be like, go inside like Palace of the Dead and run floor like 50.
Oy.
And find you have those little sprouts in there who don't quite know what they're doing, but they have a lot of abilities that they're trying to figure out, and they come into that floor 50 in Palace of the Dead, and they're like, I don't know what to do. This button's shiny, and you all die a lot.
It is definitely a disclaimer, because Final Fantasy is great community. I can't say anything otherwise for any other game because I haven't played them, but this has a great community. Mm-hmm. But I can imagine someone joining the game, instantly running 60 dungeon, never ever playing their role. You're probably gonna get bitched at. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Well, that's
they've got a nice community, but
that's the number one thing I always stress. Again, just to double down on it with new players, is like, the game will teach you how to play it. Mm-hmm. You just have to give it time, and it teaches you how to do that through the MSQ. That's what I think is so brilliant about the MSQ of this game, is. And it took a while for me to. I think it was probably like getting to around 2.3. I was like, wait a second, like everything from the beginning up until the confrontation with Gaius Van Baelsar was just teaching me how to play. That's it.
Yeah.
It was 50 levels of just teaching me how to play, and that's brilliant because it never treats it like a It's a
tutorial.
You know what? It's what it's what the first 10 chapters of Final Fantasy 13 wanted to be. A seamless tutorial where you didn't realize you were getting tutorialed. But that game was just like window pops up, window pops up, window pops up. You're 30 hours into the game, window pops up. This is the smart way to do that.
Besides Titan, because Titan was a troll for all new players.
True. Well, I think the crawl to Titan is what kills people. That is one disclaimer. We are sitting here, rubbing ourselves to the thought of the MSQ and how much we all enjoyed it. It is fair to say that there is a lull period in both of those. There's a nasty little lull from like level 30 to 34 when people just keep saying Titan's a threat. We got to kill Titan. We got to go kill Titan. But by the way, go cook a meal for these guys on the beach for some reason. Because Titan can wait a little bit, and then it happened again in Heaven's Ward when it was like, oh, Moglin wants you to do Moogle stuff. He wants you to help Moogles, and you're like, you motherfucker. I'm supposed to be saving the world. I don't have time for your Moogles. Don't have time.
I hate Moogles.
But I hear that's gotten better. I do hear that's gotten better. So having had my wife go through that just recently herself, she didn't really get all the aggression. And then I explained to her, that they updated like the Moogles locations, made them easier to find, and all this shit. And she's like, "Oh yeah." She goes, because she said basically, the story slowed down a little bit, but apparently it's much nicer now. So that's good. But I think that's just that's not just about everything. It's just about everything. But there's a couple of things that we have on our list that you guys plucked out. We didn't really talk about.
Yeah.
We should talk about cleric stance and dog.
should.
I'm going to say dog farm because I'm not saying the other thing.
No, you gotta say it. It's written there.
Let's talk about the
It's
cleric
fun.
stance first.
Oh.
Well,
big
cleric
change.
stance is
It's a
no
big change
longer a
everybody's talking about.
stance. It's no longer a stance. I mean, it is now basically an offensive buff. It's a DPS buff essentially. You don't even have to take it as a job role. There's a better job role for you, and you're not going to DPS as much. You don't need to take it anymore, and you can still DPS. The main thing is the attack is going to be calculated through mind for all healers now instead of intelligence, which cleric stance basically switched the attribute points from mind to intelligence. So now you could literally cast Cure 2 and immediately roll into, Arrow 2, and then Stone 3 or Stone 4, whichever one you want to do, and you're going to do high DPS like you normally would have on Cleric Stance. The only difference is you're no longer stancing. You're no longer accidentally hitting Cleric Stance twice and trying to heal someone, and they're about to die, and you're playing the How Low Can You Go game, and then they win.
Slobber.
So what's this? What's this dog farm? I'm assuming that's like
The what farm?
No.
What's it called?
No, it's a dog farm.
I
What is
can't. What?
Excuse me.
I'll wait.
What were you saying?
I'll wait.
What's it called?
Okay, we're waiting.
Pretty sure it's very clearly stated that it's a doggo farm.
You know why I don't take it seriously? Because it's
Huh.
followed by the nonsensical phrase "I'd 10 your ass city." What the fuck does that even mean? I'd literally in our outline it says "I'd 10" as in I would, the contraction I'd 10
Yes.
as in the number your ass city.
That was better than he was reading.
I don't even know what that means. But anyway,
Yeah, I don't
so
I
do
have
we
no
so do
clue
we
what that
know
means.
what these like is this going to be just like the ponies and the birds where they're all going to look exactly the same, but they're going to be a palette swap, or they're going to be like different cool dog mounts to get? And I'm assuming Daigoro is going to be one of them. Do we know
Can't
that?
say No, I can't say that I do. But Yoshi P did hop on one cool looking doggo, and it had like these little swirly things coming from underneath it. It looked pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, the hype is real for me. Anyway.
I'll have to look that up because I mean the only dog that I've seen in those trailers is Daigoro, and that's awesome. I'm excited. I was surprised we haven't heard more about that Yojimbo fight. We know the two new primals that we're gonna be up against, and we know some
Announced
other stuff we can't talk
E3.
about. We can't talk about because Aya doesn't know about it.
Shut up.
But we saw in the benchmark video, we saw Yojimbo and Daigoro, and I'm super excited about that. That fight's going to hopefully be awesome. I thought it was great actually that it appears they've just pulled his character, like pulled from their Final Fantasy X asset pool and just threw it right into the game, and I love when they do that. I love when you run up to a monster in this game and it is just so clearly something that existed in another game, and they just plucked the asset and put it in this game, like Ultros and Typhon. Ultros and Typhon, and all those character models were just ripped from 13.2. They're just like, yeah, they exist. Let's build a boss fight around them. That seems like, on face value, that seems so cheap, but I don't care because it pulls on my nostalgia strings.
Oh, nostalgia.
I like it. And very excited to see some more love for Final Fantasy VI and all the recent videos and stuff. It seems like we are going to get a lot more just like random little monsters and nods from that game. Like I want to say it was the benchmark trailer. Actually, in the big fight in the benchmark trailer, you can notice they are fighting some mag rotors, which were some of the cooler enemies from the greatest Final Fantasy ever created. And so I want to call out 6 anytime that I can.
I know. Every time you can.
Yeah,
It's okay, it's beautiful
you
every
haven't played
time.
it, right? You haven't played it? That's right. You haven't played the greatest
It
one
was
in
the
the series?
first one I played, but it was the Japanese version.
What's that mean? What's that got to do with anything? It was 6. 6 was the Japanese version.
Oh my goodness.
It's a really good game.
Nothing.
And you
Nothing
suck
to
if
do with
you haven't played
anything. But you bring it
Um,
up every time.
You damn right I do.
I love
'cause
you
it's,
anyway. I
you know
love
what?
you anyway.
Hey, Game Informer this month, they published their 100 greatest RPGs of all time, and that was motherfucking number 2. So
Was it?
there's
I
a
didn't
reason-
read this month.
There's a reason for that. Now, I hadn't played number 1. Number 1 was Skyrim. I've never played Skyrim, so.
I like Skyrim.
Skyrim is
I spent a
awesome.
lot of hours in Skyrim.
Anyway, we've clearly the train is clearly derailed, but at least no one is like drunk and swearing, and we haven't talked about boobs that much, so that's fantastic.
We talked about boobs a lot.
Not that much.
I whipped them out at one point. We all did.
God.
So that's pretty much
we were
everything
like,
from the
"Woo!"
live letter. That's everything that's going on with the FC. We are pulling in right up to the 2-hour mark here, so this is the absolute
Yes.
perfect time to cut this off. Does anyone want to add anything else before I do our
Yes.
normal spiel to get us out of here?
Yes, I do. We've been working on some things. If you haven't been there in quite some time, you'll notice there's a whole new layout and everything that Zaf did. There's a whole new logo that I did. There's going to be, like I told you earlier, that we updated the rank outline. There's also a couple, not new rules in the code of conduct, but just kind of reworded to make things a little easier when we got to put the ban hammer down or the kick hammer. We just got to beat people up. We can use this as an excuse. Also, soon to be coming will be a page talking to you about your first mates. It will be somewhat personal, as I am doing it for myself. So it'll be an official link on the website, but I'll be writing it from my point of view. And what it's going to be is I'm going to name every single first mate, and then I'm going to name exactly why they are a first mate and what are the reasons that you can come to them. So, I mean, I've had them all take screenshots. It took them months to get them to me because they are butts, but I find all of them booming. And as soon as I get them all, I will be posting that page up on the website. So be expecting an announcement soon. And please, if you get a chance, give it a read, because I really think if you're feeling a little left out in the FC sometimes because you don't get too involved and you feel, you're a quiet one and you don't really know what to say to people and you get a little overwhelmed by how many people there are, read this. Read why I say I picked the first mates that I did. Read why I say I picked the officers that I did. And you'll understand that this FC is here for you. We're here so that your gaming experience can be fun and so that you have an escape from real life, because real life is butt and we want to be your friend.
It can definitely be a butt.
Definitely. Oh. That's why we're the booty.
Fantastic. So, anything else anyone wants to plug before I pull us out?
I hate to steal the thunder here, but I just basically wanted everyone to understand the fact that be here.
Just happy to be here. Yeah.
Yep. Just happy to be here.
Just
Oh.
happy to be here.
I just
Happy
want
to be here.
everyone to have a good time and stay booty.
Yes.
That can mean
Shout
all
out
sorts of
to-
things.
Shout out to Saucy. You're all gems.
Yeah,
All
you
of
know
you.
what? I miss Saucy. I haven't heard that
You
voice.
are
in a
all
long time.
gems.
I haven't heard that voice in a long time. All right, so fantastic. That's episode 6 in the can. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Not so much thank you for joining us a half hour late, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that after. You guys did a fantastic job of pulling me out of that initial crankiness at the beginning of the show.
I know.
Still not going
I'm
to
so
apologize.
I'm so sorry.
I think I spread around just the right amount of venom, and you all came through. You all came through with flying colors. I am noticing a little note here on the side of our outline from 1047 from Miss Millie that says he's not stumbling. Darn it, I don't, and I never will.
No, he's talking about Buttery.
Oh, okay. Well, he stumbles all
Yeah.
the time. Okay.
What?
I don't know. I thought she was calling me out because she's been trying to get me with all these
She
goofy
was
little
trying to
things that she's
distract
typing.
him with "I'd tin your ass, city."
I still have no clue what that means. So for myself,
I
Jesus.
don't know where that's going.
I have no clue what that is, but I'll find out later. I'll let you guys know.
time for the outro.
Okay.
For myself, Caritas Helmbreaker, for Buttery Biscuit, for Miliana Gray, for your Captain Aya B, for our guest, Kyo Muramasa. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Hopefully we'll get this up to you relatively soon. So please, get involved with the show. Talk to us in-game. Talk to us on Discord. Talk to us any way you want to talk to us. Email us. ffxivcaptainsquarters@gmail.com. I don't care how awful it is. We will make Millie read it. That is my promise to you. Hashtag we will make Millie read it. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Stop typing.
I do what I want.
The time has come, the time for a drink, but I don't want whiskey or gin. There's only one drink that gets me so drunk, yet till my head starts to spin. Far to the west under tropical sun, this mystical drink is brewed. You're on a mission to get totally drunk, we have got nothing to lose. Rum is the power, rum is the key, rum is the thing that will set us free. Rum, 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 yeah, rum, rum, ahoy. Rum, 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 yeah, rum, rum, give me more rum. Rum, 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 yeah, rum, rum, ahoy. Rum, 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 yeah, rum, rum, yeah, ha, ha, ha. The time has come, the time for